Good morning.
Morning.
Good afternoon, almost. It's just at that point. I am so pleased to be on the TED stage and to actually involve you in what we're talking about. Because a lot of what we're talking about is not my responsibility. It's not your responsibility. It's our responsibility together. You know, a great educator once said, if we teach students today like we taught them yesterday, we rob them of tomorrow. Think about that. If we teach students today like we taught them yesterday, we rob them of tomorrow. You know, girls, you know, ladies and gentlemen, I think the education system is a little bit broken. A little bit broken. And you would agree with me if you take classes. Now, that's a scary thing to say, actually, because it's our responsibility to fix it. It's our responsibility. So I want you to say two things with me. I want you to say two things. I want you all to say right now the words, why not? And then I want you to say the words, go for it.
Go for it.
And I want you to remember that you said those things. I want you to remember that you said, why not and go for it. You know, let's talk about what teaching and what universities are. Zayed University's job is really threefold. It's to teach students the information and the technology they need to get a job. That's the first thing. It's also to teach students how to use education, how to accumulate knowledge for the rest of their lives. And it's to teach every single Zayed University student that they have to be part of changing the world a little bit. They have to be part of changing the world a little bit. And where does that start? It starts in our classes. It starts in our classes. It starts in our classes where every single class that you take, every single day of every single week, you say something significant. You ask a question, you make a comment, you add to the information that people in that class understand. You help. Why not? Go for it. In my classes, every single student has to talk every single day that we meet. Every single student, every single day. Do you do that? Why not? Go for it. In classes, why do we have to lecture? Why do we have to lecture? You know as well as I do, girls, that it takes a pretty dynamic lecturer to keep your attention for 50 minutes. Otherwise, you're like, it takes a pretty dynamic lecturer. So why do we always do that? Because that's the way we did it 100 years ago. That's the way we did it 200 years ago. That's the way we do it today. Unfortunately, both metaphorically and literally, teachers and students are stuck in a box. I will end with two things because I don't want to keep you too long, but I will end with two things that take a moment. You know, when James Pikeway and I taught here in Dubai together, one of the things we said we were going to do is change the world of classes. And you know, we had a class once where we said, you know, we really need to end this class on a truly high note. We really need to do something magical to end this class. And he looked at me, and I looked at him, and we said, what do you think we should do? I said, why don't we have the class? Well, actually, I think he said, why don't we have the class in some really dynamic place? I said, okay. So I said, why don't we have the class in a place where students can see the future and the past? He said, okay. We both said, why don't we have the class in the top floor of the Burj Al Arab? It is the future. We can see the future. We can see the past. We looked at one another. We said, nah, never happen. We made a few phone calls. We asked people, why not? Eventually, the manager of the Burj Al Arab said, go for it. And lo and behold, that's where we had that last class. And it was magical. It wasn't a lecture. It was a discussion. It was a see the future, look at the past, remember what you learned, and go and change the world like we know you can. So girls, it is your responsibility to change the world of your classes, to change the world of Zayed University, to bring classes through technology, through questions, through comments, through teaching, through learning, into the 21st century, so that we're not living by, if we teach students today like we taught them yesterday, we rob them of tomorrow. We want tomorrow. Go for it.